Oh, right. That. All right. Look at that. I'm gonna give this.
That's the camera. We're waiting on one person.
Fire.
Love it. Thank you. Summer's on. Camping in the summer is going to be a hot affair.
Yeah.
We tried this weekend, and I was like, this is going to be brutal in July, actually.
You're young.
Yeah, I know, but man, it's hot. So, like, no one here.
Looking good, everyone. Crowd in, let's get you on TV. Where you belong. Next generation. That's what I'm talking about. So is my target like in terms of this video showing up? Is it like New York One tonight? Is that like the
This is
main?
New York One tonight. I think Sally Goldenberg from Politico is reporting.
Yeah,
I think
I'll
they
spit on
might
Sally.
share the footage with Pix 11 as well. So the target is like your New York
In
One
New York One
observer.
audience.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we got guys. We got fans. Thank you so much.
My joke to you, which I can't hear, is that like you look the same.
Nobody's trying to get
Patel,
fame. I'm
but
just-
like matching that.
I have the
Yeah. Well, you have it though. You do have that Asian vitality.
On a good day. On a good day. Hey.
No one can see me back here. If you're in the front.
But yeah, Sally's important.
Yeah.
So, summer plans?
This is our summer plans.
Yeah.
Campaign,
So this goes to
August 23rd. So all summer. They're all doing it all summer, right, guys?
let's go. These are summer
I'm doing
plans.
multiples.
Yeah, New Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Leaf, Dev. Is that Sally? All right.
Hey,
All right,
Sally.
John. Another couple of minutes. Hi, everyone. It is my pleasure to endorse today the next member of Congress from New York's 12th District, my friend Suraj Patel. Let's give it up for Suraj.
Thank you.
So many people here in New York and around the country are looking for the next generation of leadership. And the people here in Manhattan are lucky to have that candidate in Suraj Patel. Suraj is young, he's tech savvy, he understands the future, he has many innovative policy ideas, and you can check them out at his website. But also, he's the son of immigrants, he's run a business, he's been an activist for years, he's worked within the Obama campaign and administration. He's exactly the kind of next generation leader that we've been looking for. And I'm going to be thrilled to endorse him and help him win this election. Now, his primary opponents are two incumbents. We know them well. They're fixtures here in New York and in the Democratic political scene. And all respect to Jerry Nadler and Carolyn Maloney. They've been in service for a long time. They've done a lot of great things. But I want everyone in Manhattan, we're all very savvy, to reflect on who you want representing you over the next several years and beyond. Do you want someone who's going to be on the verge of retirement the next time Democrats really have a chance to get something done, who's going to be 78, 79, even older? Or do you want someone who at that point will be in his early 40s, just building seniority and representing this district and community for years and years to come. We know that we need the latter. We're tired of a seniority system that has people staying in power and in office well past the point where they're actually in touch with what's happening in their community and the average voter. We need people like Suraj who are closer to the ground, who understand what people are going through every day, and frankly have not been in Washington, D.C. for 10, 20, thank you, brother, 10, 20, 30 plus years. Speaking brutally honestly, the odds are the Democrats will not be in power in the House until 26 at the earliest, at which point both Carolyn Maloney and Jerry Nadler will be much closer to retirement than in terms of spearheading new policy or legislation. We need to get Suraj in there so that he can start building up that seniority and institutional set of relationships. Manhattan, this is our chance. We have to seize it. If we don't seize it, what's going to happen? Not a whole lot. We're going to have the same leadership head back to DC, the same posturing, the same politicking, where people are as or more concerned with their own place in the party or their trajectory than in delivering results. And in Suraj, we have someone who's motivated for the right reasons. He's run not once, not twice, but 3 times. He came this close to winning in the last race in 2020. And this time, New York, Suraj Patel is going to bring it home. Let's bring in the next member of Congress from New York's 12th District, my friend Suraj Patel.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm honored to have your endorsement. You ran a historic presidential and mayoral campaign, pitching generational change, Asian American representation, all these things that matter. Look, I'm running for Congress because we all know that the status quo has failed us. That on every major battle, from reproductive rights to climate change, gun control, to inflation, we have lost every major battle to Mitch McConnell and today's Republicans. We defeated Trump, but Trumpism is on the rise. It's rearing its head through anti-Semitism, homophobia, attacks and assaults on our democracy and the very foundations of liberal democracy across the world. And to meet those challenges, we need to make a new case for New York values. We need to make a new case with new messengers to win this country back. This is a campaign about persuasion. It is about building a big tent and about bringing people back to see that Democrats can govern and can deliver, and that we understand the challenges facing our economy and our city. Coming out of COVID, we've got a 7.5% unemployment rate in New York. That's 2.5 times the national average. Crime's rising, homelessness at a record level. All these things are interrelated. We've got a crisis of opportunity. And for decades, we've had the same status quo politicians who have really bought into this culture of no. No to new transit, no to new infrastructure, no to new childcare, no to everything. And we're all tired of excuses. And so we all know fundamentally that this is a change election. And I'm looking forward to representing Manhattan, this district. Let's remember why we're in this race in the first place. Because 2 incumbents with 60 years of time in office gerrymandered their own districts to save their re-elections. Various media outlets have reported that Representative Maloney drew her own district to cut young and Latino voters out. Representative Nadler handed over voters. This is not an aristocracy. No one is entitled to these seats. And that blew up in everyone's face. And because of it, the Democrats will probably lose. We will lose a few seats upstate this year under these new lines. But the point is, why don't we have people who are as effective at holding power as they are at pushing forward innovative new policies to get this city and this country moving again? That's fundamentally the referendum this race is about. And I look forward to having that debate for the next 74 days and then leading to a victory in August.
Yeah.
Hi, Suraj. You're a Democrat running in a Democratic primary. I'm wondering if you agree with Andrew Yang's position. Something he recently tweeted, quote, the Democratic Party has become a lobbying firm with a political party attack. And he talks a lot about the two-party system being broken. As someone who's running in a Democratic district, as a Democrat, what do you think about this comment?
Look, I'm a proud, lifelong Democrat. My first campaign, I worked for President Obama. I left law school. I lived out of a suitcase for 2 years doing that. And I fundamentally believe that our party is at its best when it's building a big tent, when it is including the disaffected, people who are disengaged, and people who traditionally don't vote. And in that vein, just wait for the next round of endorsements we are rolling out. We are building the biggest tent here. And that means taking on supporters from all angles here that want to see fundamental change in our party.
And do you agree with that criticism of the Democratic Party that it's a lobbying firm?
I do not agree with the criticism that it's a lobbying firm. I do, however, believe that in this race, for example, I'm the only candidate who isn't funded by corporate PAC money. Both of my opponents ostensibly say they're against Citizens United. I'm the only one that isn't living hypocrisy and taking $1 million from the very same corporations I'm tasked to regulate. There are fundamental problems with our representation, our leadership in office right now, and fundamentally, a lot of those are generational. But I do agree that we should be able to look in the mirror and self-criticize and grow from that.
And can I just also ask Andrew Young some questions? Given your criticism of the Democratic Party, what made you want to get involved in a primary? And have you already left the party, or can you vote in this primary in August?
We all know that corporate interests have overrun our political system. That's certainly true in the Republican Party. It's true of anyone who's in position right now to make decisions that affect various corporate interests. It's one reason why I'm so excited to endorse a candidate like Suraj Patel, who's not taking corporate PAC money. I know for a fact he's his own person. He's not beholden to anyone other than the people that are going to vote him into office in August.
And can you vote in this primary in August?
No, I represent a lot of disaffected New Yorkers who are excited for change in leadership.
You raised with him last time you ran against Maloney. What do you think has changed about the race, the city, your priorities? What are you trying to tackle this time as opposed to when you ran last time?
Well, the nice thing about running for office and being consistent and persistent is that you don't have to change your argument. I was making a case for generational change. I was making a case for the idea that, you know, when Barack Obama took office in 2008, there were Democratic senators from Missouri, from Kansas, from Alaska, two from Ohio. Remember, we had a persuasion party that, didn't just, because they disagree with one person, say they would disagree with them for everything. This is about building a big tent and making a new case for New York values. Like I said, on every major generational issue, from reproductive rights to climate change, we have, lost those battles to this version of Mitch McConnell and Republicans. I was saying this weekend that 1994 assault weapons ban passed with bipartisan support and was not filibustered. That was a different era. But we've got Democrats in the incumbents in this race who are still playing off of that 1990s playbook. And the question is, who is best prepared for these, not just 2 or 4 year problems, but who is best prepared for the next decade? Who has the energy and desire to take the fight for New York values back out and win them back? And that's what I'm doing in this race. Yes, the district has changed quite a bit. And of course, I find myself in a race with 2 people who have served 60 years. And my fundamental question is, why do we feel that 61 is going to be any different? And if we need different, then I'm the only one in this race that's making that pitch. Hey, Jacob.
Based on their record in Congress, based on their relationship with them, they have the relationship with your pitch, and for Andrew, with the Democratic Party, why you would support the Democratic candidate from Congress?
Well, I'll take Jacob's question. The question was for voters in the Jewish community who have relationships with Carolyn Maloney and Jerry Nadler. My pitch is very simple. I've been a lifelong supporter of the state of Israel and its right to exist as a Jewish state, as a liberal democracy in the Middle East. I'm a lifelong supporter of the two-state solution. And in me, you will have, for the next generation, for the next decades, an ardent supporter of the U.S.-Israel relationship. And so I would make my pitch to say that I'm better positioned to maintain the sacrosanct and bipartisan nature of that relationship and make that case for the next generation of Democratic office holders and voters than Carolyn Maloney or Jerry Nadler, frankly. I'm not running this race as a victory lap or as a sense of entitlement to serve 2 more years. I'm running this race to fight back for New York and New York values and to bring this city back coming out of COVID on a variety of issues. And New Yorkers ought to be leading again.
My question is
Oh yeah, no, I think he had a question for me, right? I heard it, I think.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of thousands of independent voters here in New York City who are registered as Democrats because it's often the only way they can meaningfully participate in local elections. So first and foremost, we need people who are going to bring some new energy and even reform to the system. We don't need more politics as usual or business as usual to enact the kind of changes that many New Yorkers have been looking for a long time. But for people who are interested in some form of long-term continuity, again, do we really want to be facing a question 2 or 4 years from now with the member retiring, or would you rather have someone like Suraj in who's going to be able to represent New Yorkers and our interests for years, and not to put too much pressure on you, Suraj, but maybe even decades to come? I mean, let's get with the program and get a start now rather than have to face this question 2 or 4 years from now.
Let me jump in and also just iterate a point here. Listen to what we're asking here. We're asking why disaffected voters, people who don't typically vote in our primaries and who don't vote for Democrats, are supporting a Democrat. Isn't this exactly what we need to build a big tent to win this country back? Isn't actually welcoming people rather than checking their card, their membership card, or their activism history at the door the reason we are in this position right now as being too exclusive? You know, when I ran in 2018, the prior election in 2016, 1.6% of 18 to 35-year-olds voted in this Democratic primary. In that race, when I ran, we created a 797% increase in 18 to 35-year-olds, millennials, voting in this primary. This is precisely the kind of thing we need across the country to win it back. If Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are the problem in the Senate, then which of the three candidates in this race are actually offering a new message and messengers to try to do something better and win this country back for the Democratic Party? And I think that's why, of course we should be taking endorsements from folks who are disaffected and who have left the party, because that's how we build it back. If we're going to be exclusive about this, then this isn't for any of us. We're going to be stuck in a narrow little echo chamber. And man, I am tired after the Trump years of echo chambers, and we need to break ours.
Question for me?
Do you plan on making other endorsements, or now that you're out of the party, plan to start your own party?
So I like to believe that I represent a lot of independent-minded voters. Again, many of whom are registered as Democrats here in New York City because it's often the only way you can participate meaningfully. But I've been getting calls from candidates in different races, and I'm as invested in our future as anybody. So I may be endorsing in other races. First things first, we got to get Suraj into Congress in August. I will say, just for fun, New Yorkers are looking for the next generation of leadership, and I winced when I saw that Mayor de Blasio was running for Congress. I mean, I bet everyone here winced. I mean, come on, man. Like, enough. You know, it's like we need politicians who don't, like, cling to this because of some I don't know, like, personal idiosyncrasy or a complex. I mean, you know, like, just move off stage, do something else, please, for all of our sakes. So it's one reason why I'm excited to be endorsing Suraj, is I think that he represents the kind of fresh energy. But I am looking at other races, in part because I can speak for millions of New Yorkers when I say, Bill de Blasio, we've had enough. We'd all just prefer not to see you on our TV screens for at least another little while, or maybe forever. So I had to just speaking for New Yorkers on that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
It's great.